Welcome to Canada's Entrepreneur, where we talk to the entrepreneurs who are making it happen across Canada and deliver the news, trends, knowledge, and opinions from entrepreneurs and business influencers across the country.
Hello, I'm Mario Taguzi, Managing Editor of Canada's Entrepreneur, and joining me today is David Wallach on Calgary's podcast. David is President and CEO of Barclay Street Real Estate, also President and founder of Triumph Real Estate Investment Fund. Thanks, David, for joining us today.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Okay, let me just first of all talk a little bit about both entities. Let's start with Barclay. Tell me a little bit about Barclay and what you folks do.
Barclay Street is a commercial real estate brokerage and property management, third-party property management. We deal with all commercial aspects of real estate, industrial, retail, office, investment sales, and we manage condo boards and commercial properties. That's what Barclay does.
And what about Triumph?
Triumph was or is an investment fund that we bought properties both sides of the border, focused on Alberta, Arizona, and Colorado. And we sold some of the properties, and we're in the process of selling a few more. And so that was just revenue producing properties that we bought. And when the market was right, we sold them.
Okay, tell me now, David, how did you get involved in the real estate world? I'm sure as a kid you probably didn't have ambition to be a real estate person, right?
No, it wasn't high on the list when I was a teenager or a kid. What brought me to real estate in '99 when we immigrated to Canada, my wife, our three kids, and myself, the government lost my medical exams, so I couldn't work until I had to do the medical exams again, send them to Tel Aviv, then to Paris for the lab to approve that I'm healthy. So I had a period of about 10 months that I was, couldn't work. Kids were in school. And what I did is, I traveled around the city and I saw the growth in real estate. So I decided to take the real estate course, and I did a real estate course. And from the get-go, I kind of decided I'm going commercial. I want to talk with business people. I don't want to do residential, which is more for an emotional sale. So that's what brought me into real estate, and I never looked back.
Wow. What were you doing in Israel?
I had my insurance brokerage for many years, and I'm a big sports fan. So the team that I'm a big fan of still today, Maccabi Haifa from my hometown in Haifa, was in financial dire straits. So I volunteered to be the chairman of the basketball part of the club for a few years, and I did that. And but I was volunteer after work. So, but mostly it was insurance. I was licensed. I had my insurance brokerage, and I was licensed with third liability, fire, and life insurance and benefits.
Oh, wow. So, you've been, in Calgary here now for quite some time. You've seen the ups and downs of the market. How does someone survive in the real estate world in a city like Calgary?
Well, I think that you have to stay the course in what you do. That's one, but I think the most important is to stay the course with your people. At the end of the day, we're a people company working in real estate, and it's all about the people that work with me and work with Barclay Street Real Estate. And we had our financial ups and downs like everybody else in this city and in this country. We survived the financial meltdown of 2008. We survived the oil and gas crash of 2014. We survived COVID. But it all ended up with having the right people with you, as the phrase says, the right people on the bus in the perfect seat or in the right seat. So that is the focus. This is my focus, is having the right people and making them understand that our culture will keep us strong and will keep us through the ups and downs.
Now, speaking ups and downs, I'm just wondering, where do you see the real estate market, commercial real estate market in Calgary these days? How is it doing?
Uh, well, it was a slow start to the year, and I think it was mostly because of background noise, meaning the election that we had here in Canada, the tariffs that our neighbor from the south has decided to put on Canada. It kind of it was uncertainty. So people were sitting on their hands for a while. We see in the last few weeks or month uh, um, that this is moving forward in a very positive way. So I'm very optimistic that the second part of 2025 is going to be very strong in Calgary. I already see it in the amount of work we do, the amount of listings we have, the amount of deals that we close. So it's a very positive era right now. As I said, it started slow. I think when the elections were over, people realized, okay, that's a new government, that's a new reality. Let's go on with life. The other thing is, in today's world, you want to be in Alberta, you want to be in Calgary. There's no doubt that Alberta and Calgary are leading the country right now in growth. We had over 90,000 people move to Calgary every year in 2023 and 2024, each year. And when I immigrated here 26 years ago, Calgary was 900,000. Now it's over 1.7 mil. So it's almost doubled in 26 years, which is a very good, I would say, testament to the strength of the city. Even though oil and gas is still a major player, it's not only oil and gas anymore. So we don't see negative migration. When the oil crashed, we didn't see negative migration, and so I'm very optimistic for the next part of 2025 and for 2026.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the different sectors within the commercial real estate industry. I imagine that still the shining stars are multifamily and industrial still, right?
Yeah, there are. It's everybody wants industrial or multifamily. I would say number three is retail. But that creates a lot of pressure in Calgary, because if you look at industrial and retail, we're less than 4% vacancy, closer to 3% vacancy, which moves the needle in terms of the rents up. And my fear is that will be lagging on, especially on the retail construction. When people move here, when you have almost 200,000 people move within 2 years, they need furniture, they need house, everything for their house. They need jobs, they need, and they want to spend because they want to, have their life kind of come together in the new location in which they moved to Calgary. That happened to us 26 years ago, and we were buying every month. We were buying new stuff to our home, making it a cozy home for us after we immigrated. And I the same is happening right now. So I think that we are lagging on the industrial and the retail construction. And I hope that I hear good things about, the city red tape is decreasing in terms of the time that it takes to get DP, which is a very positive, I would say, a move. And for years, we were criticizing the city and administration. So, I spoke yesterday with one of the developers in town, and he told me he got his DP within 7 or 8 months for a few hundred units, which is, if you go back 4 or 3 years, it was unheard of. So that's kind of where we see the strength is multifamily, industrial, retail, and then comes office as at the bottom of the pile still. And I think that we'll see. But what the interesting thing we saw and we see is that a lot of private money is coming to Calgary. A lot of private investors are buying in Calgary, including office. They have deep pockets. They take the opportunity to buy it cheaper than construction cost and replacement cost. So and they have the patience. So we see that as a positive movement for Calgary.
Now, the other aspect, obviously, is the is the office space, especially downtown. You talk a little bit about the downtown office market and where it's at, and also a little bit. I just noticed that the city has added 10 more conversion projects in the downtown. And how is that program working? And yeah.
Well, I think the city had a target of taking 6 million feet out of the office into residential, and the thought behind it was, one is to decrease the vacancy in the office, two, increase the value of those buildings because the city lives from property tax, and three, bring more people to live downtown and make it a more vibrant downtown after 5 o'clock or after 6 p.m. Because Calgary was known that after at 5 or 6 p.m. downtown was vacating, everybody was going suburbia. The question, or the one thing I'm missing is some of the conversion, and I can't point my finger which buildings, but some of the conversion I would like to see bigger condos that people that are empty nesters or people that have the ability to buy a more expensive condo and a high-end condo like Lacaille on the Bow that we have will be moving to downtown, and not just the small, small condos or apartments that students can rent or people can rent. And I think we have to create that mixture of opportunities and mixture of demographics in downtown, not just, one size fits all, 500, 600, 700 square feet or 1,000 square feet, but to see some of those downtown, like other big cities, that people that have the means can buy and want to live downtown.
Now, David, you as a business, you and Barclay Street compete against some global giants out there in the market, right? I'm not going to mention any names. We all know who they are: big commercial real estate firms. You're kind of more of a boutique a business. Tell me how you're successful in that environment, and what are your success?
Well, I think that you mentioned all the big whales, and if I look back to COVID, and let's start with COVID, we were in the office through the entire time. We never shut our office. Real estate was assigned as an essential services, and for the first 2 months when the lockout happened, we were 50-50. And then after 2 months, everybody was back in the office. So we were there, we were answering the phone, we were meeting people with all the restrictions that we had at the time. Moving forward, I think that, again, it comes down to people, and it comes down to having the right people. And I see from the amount of, I don't think we had as much work as we have right now, probably in the last 5 or 6 years. And that is only result of the hard work of the people that work at Barclay Street Real Estate that they put in. I think our slogan, we have two slogans that we live by. One is local expertise matter. We want to be the experts as the local people that are Alberta proud, Calgary proud, Edmonton proud. That's what we want to be known for. The other one is, our slogan is because we care. We are your partner, not just for the deal. We will help you when along the way, there are some ups and downs, as you mentioned, as you asked me at the beginning of the ups. Everybody has ups and downs. And if they need to sublease, if they have a problem with the landlord, we're always there. We're always there to help, to suggest, to advise, to get the right people. And that's kind of how we compete. We have, of course, we do our PR with Parker PR, and we try to build our brand. They have bigger pockets than us, yes, but I think that overall, we also found a niche that works for us. And as entrepreneurs, we work very well with entrepreneurs. The interesting thing is we started getting work also from institutional landlords just because of they saw our success with the entrepreneurs in leasing space that was vacant for many months, leasing space that some of the whales had listed and didn't do anything about it. We won't take a listing just for the sake of listing. We'll take listing to fill it up, to sell it, to do something. And I think that makes a big difference when you have the results, when you deliver results. That makes the difference, and I think that's what differentiates us from others is being the mavericks. If you talk about Calgary and going to the Stampede and soon, we're being the mavericks of this city in terms of commercial real estate.
Let's talk a little bit about you, David. So I know on, I think it's your Instagram account. You have yourself called you're Israeli cowboy, right?
Yeah, I'm very proud Israeli, and I'm very proud to be Albertan and live we're getting to Stampede. You'll see me at every event with my cowboy boots, my buckle, my cowboy, my hat. Year round. I wear my boots year round to not every day to the office, but at least once a week or twice a week I wear the boots. I have a meeting tomorrow with Alberta Boot to get new boots. So I like, coming from Israel with such a vast history of 3,500 years. I respect the history here, and I want to cherish the history here, because I think that without history, you can't build the future. Without relating to your history, you can't relate. And the history here is the West, is what we are celebrating during Stampede.
Now, when you, I'm assuming when you first moved to Calgary, that was your first Stampede?
Yeah, it was 1999 was our first Stampede with our kids, and the kids were young at that time. Now they're all grown up, and some of them already have kids. So that was our first Stampede, and the funny thing about that Stampede, if you have I'll tell you an anecdote. We walked through the Stampede ground, and all of a sudden I see the Canadian Army display. So coming from Israel, I served in the army as a staff sergeant for many years, and I show my kids, I use this, and there's a young corporal standing there, and I asked him, "What are you doing here?" And he says, "Well, recruiting people for reserve." I said, "Can I apply?" And him being a very nice, polite Canadian, trying to tell me that I'm too old. And he says, well, we have an age limit. So I asked him, does experience matter? He said, what do you mean? I said, I just immigrated here, and I was 22 years a staff sergeant in the Israeli army. He says, just a second. He calls his officer out. And I said, I was just kidding. I'm done with this. So that was my first Stampede.
Wow. Just as an aside, you mentioned being in the Israeli army. What did you learn from that experience?
Well, I think that the first thing, or the couple of things that I've learned is, you have to lead by example. You cannot ask people to do things you're not willing to do. And the other thing that I learned is, instead of saying charge, you have to lead by follow me. So you have to set the example. You have to set to be the leader. You have to set kind of the vision, and people will follow you. If you go and say charge and you stay behind, that's not a good thing. That cannot hold for a long time.
The last thing I wanted to ask you, I know you were on a fitness journey. I'm trying to remember, you cycle a lot, right?
Well, I do twice a week. I do boxing at Dynamite Boxing Club. Twice or three times I go to Bow Valley Athletic Club to do some weights, with some days with a trainer, some days by myself. And I cycle a little bit, not a lot. I try to do it once or twice, either spin or off on road. And so you have to keep a little bit of health. Physical health also helps mental health. So I'm trying to get those all together. And of course, I have my radio talk show with Tara McCool. So I do a lot of stuff that is not just work.
Before we leave here, tell us about that talk show with Tara. And I was a guest once.
Yeah, yeah. You're a good guest because you can talk. Some people sit there and they nod with their head, and we tell them it's radio, you have to talk. When COVID hit, you only heard every day is how many people passed away, how many people are in hospital, how many people have COVID, and it was just bad news one after the other. And we came up with the idea we have to get some good news into the system. And we came up with the idea the show is called Calgary Next on QR77, and it's promoting Calgary businesses, Calgary entrepreneurs, Calgary business coaches, charities. It's all about Calgary and its economy and the good stories. And there are so many good stories. It's unbelievable. You'll be shocked what I'm going to tell you right now. We just celebrated 4 years every week. 4 years every weekend. We have the show on QR77. We're moving from Saturday to Sunday, but it's amazing how many people are connecting with us to get to be on the show, and we're having a blast. We're enjoying it, Tara and I, to promote Calgary, promote the people, promote the businesses, promote the charities, and it's fun.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, David, for being our guest today.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure, Mario.
All right. That was David Wallach, President and CEO of Barclay Street Real Estate, as well as President and founder of Triumph Real Estate Investment Fund. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Canada's entrepreneur, managing editor. Thanks for joining us today.